Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous buttercream piped flower cake. So let's get started. So we are going to start with the cake assembling, and I'm using the very easy chocolate cake, and you can find the recipe in the link at the top of the screen. So I'm using a ring. This is a 7-inch cake. And I used 2 batches of the recipe, and the overall height of the cake was approximately 15 centimeters. The filling of the cake is chocolate cream cheese, strawberry confit, and strawberry cream. I like to use the rings for assembling the cakes because it keeps them in place, the cream doesn't run from the sides, and basically it's just much more neater. So take a cake base and place a small amount of the cream on the bottom just to keep the cake in place, and we will start layering the cake. So we're putting the first layer and we're covering it with a layer of cream cheese. Next layer is the strawberry cream, and you can find the recipe down in the description box. I'm always making the fruit layers slightly smaller than the cake, and after I'm placing it on top of the cake, I'm filling the sides with the cream cheese and spreading a very thin layer of the cream cheese on top of the fruit layer. Now, before we go any higher, I'm adding another layer of this cake film so the cake won't stuck to the ring, and we continue stacking our cake. So we're using another layer of the chocolate cake and another layer of the chocolate cream cheese. On top of that cream cheese, we're placing another layer of the chocolate cake. Afterwards, another layer of cream cheese, the strawberry confit, and the last layer of chocolate cake. After we're finished layering the cake, let it sit in the refrigerator for at least 4 to 6 hours, and it's best to let it sit overnight so the cake is firm and stable. Let the cake sit out of the fridge for about half an hour, and we're ready to color it with our white chocolate ganache. Do not put white chocolate ganache on a cold cake because it will set immediately and you won't get an even spread. So just level the cake with white chocolate ganache and set it aside while we're piping our buttercream flowers. For the buttercream flowers we will need piping tips. I will tell you the numbers while I'm using them. Gel food coloring, I have burgundy, red, yellow and brown from Wilton, and an avocado green from American Color. I find that the avocado green is the most realistic green color for piping leaves. I have a flower nail and a pre-cut squares of baking paper on which we're going to pipe our flowers. Next we will color our buttercream. Again, you can find the recipe for the buttercream at the description box down below. And I'm mixing, as you can see, the green buttercream for the leaves. I have yellow and kind of purple lilac-y buttercream and some kind of an reddish buttercream. As you can see, I barely coloring the buttercream. I prefer pastels. I think it's more realistic this way. And another trick I'm doing is that I'm not mixing the color all the way through, so you can see in some places all kind of lines and spots of color, and the color is not uniform, which makes it much more realistic. So the first flower is the Peony, and we're going to use the number 104 tip. Notice that the wider side of the tip needs to point down and the narrower side needs to point up. Place some buttercream on the flower nail and place the baking paper on top of it. We're starting with a base for the flower, so just pipe a cone shape out of buttercream. Now start piping in an up and down motion around the base. Repeat it one more time. And now we're going to make bigger petals, and we're just going to pipe around what we made earlier and just tremble your head a little bit to create those little waves. Pipe between 5 to 6 large petals around the base. And pipe 3 to 4 rounds of the large petal. Depend on how large you want your flower. A second way of making a peony is just a little bit different in the middle. So we are again starting with the base, pipe cone shape base, and then one time around the base. Now pipe 3 petals, and then 3 petals again. Hold the piping tip at an angle to create the closed look, and afterwards we're starting to pipe bigger petals, and again we're trembling our hand to create the wavy lines. Both of those ways creates very pretty peony flower. You just pick whatever you like more. This one I will pipe it only halfway because I want it to look like it's a closed flower. Next flower is the Austin Rose. Again, I'm using tip number 104. We're starting with the base. Again, it is a cone-shaped base. Now, from the middle, start piping a star-shaped petal in one motion. And in between the ribs, just pipe like this ribbon. Just pipe and tear, pipe and tear. The more you add, the more ribbons like this you add, it will look more prettier. After you finished adding the ribbons, pipe 3 to 4 long petals. And again, make about 3 rows of the petals. Second way of making Austin's Rose is to pipe. Again, we're starting with the base. This one is more a flat like donut-like base, And again, we're starting with a star shape, but in this case we're repeating the star shape over and over again for 3 times. And afterwards we're starting with a pipe 4 large petals around the star and then 5 more. Make between 2 to 3 rows of the large petals. Next flower is the ranunculus. We're starting with a green base. The ranunculus has a green inside petals and a different color outside petals. So this one is basically just like a rose. First we're starting with 1 petal, afterwards we're piping 3 petals, then 5 and 7 and 7, and if you would like to continue another row, it is okay as well. So the inside is green, so you're making the 1 3 3 green, and the 5 7 7 you are making a different color. Next flower is the ribbon rose, and here we're making a flatter base. Again, it resembles more of a donut kind of base. We're piping the middle section with tip number 133, and afterwards, using 104 tip, we're piping a 1 long petal around the middle. Pipe between 3 to 4 ribbons around the middle like this. If you find it hard to pipe 1 long ribbon, you can do it in 2 shots. Now notice that I'm twisting the hand that's holding the nail and not the piping bag. Place all the buttercream flowers in the refrigerator before we're going to assemble the cake, because the flowers need to get firm. Now we're going to cover our cake with buttercream, which I dyed light gray. And I'm going here for this rustic look. I don't want to smooth the cake all the way through. I am looking for, I don't know, you can call it maybe like a concrete effect. Okay, so I have here a light gray buttercream and darker gray buttercream, and I just randomly put in the dark gray buttercream around the cake. And now we're going to smooth it, but again, don't make it too perfect because we are looking for this grungy kind of look. Pipe a buttercream circle on top of the cake. This is going to be a base for our flowers, and now we're going to arrange them on top of the base. For the leaves, I'm using number 70 piping tip, and just insert the leaves in between the flowers where you need to hide all the joinings. For the buds, I'm using number 12 piping tip for the green part, and for the white part I'm using number 4. So you just pipe with the number 12 and then insert a number 4 with the white buttercream inside until it pops out. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.